Let's set the scene. It's late 2022. Mercedes are donning a brand new, brilliant front wing design that pushes the boundaries of the regulations. Mercedes are pleased with their efforts after having the design officially approved by the FIA. Unbeknownst to the Mercedes team, however, rivals were gawking at their new front wing design and began questioning its legality, sparking controversies across the paddock. Eventually, as a result of the controversy, the FIA reverses its decision and bans the front wing I had previously said was A-OK. Fast forward to the present moment. Ferrari releases a new 2023 Challenger, and its excellent overall design draws a lot of attention. Its front wing design, however, reminds us of a particular design that Mercedes developed in its car last season. Turns out, it's the exact same design which ended up being banned. What exactly is it about this brilliant design that resulted in it being banned? Why on earth are Ferrari allowed to use the banned design for the 2023 season? Stick around to the end of the video to see firsthand how F1 teams cleverly interpret regulations in order to get an advantage on the grid. Let's get stuck in. Firstly, what exactly was Mercedes' design that sparked these controversies from the other teams last year? The Mercedes design featured 5 slot gap separators, which were designed in a way that would modify the airflow. This design aimed to use the wing's outboard section as a flow conditioning feature. With this feature, the airflow would be pushed more to the tyre face, which would surround the wheel assembly, the effect of which would be lots of airflow being directed to the combination of the tyre and the wheel assembly. To do this, Mercedes swung back the wing features and opened up the lower portion of the end plate to create a channel for the wind in a way that rivals claim could not be achieved when following the regulations. We'll uncover why these details are important very shortly. First, did Mercedes go through the proper approval process for the front wing design? Answer is yes. It turns out, before the wing was built, Mercedes submitted the details to the FIA technical department and CAD, or computer-aided design, drawing form. The FIA would either approve the design or reject its use, telling them why it does not follow technical rules. Mercedes got the former, hence it applied the front wing designs and got the car moving on the tracks. But the new look raised many eyebrows at the training tracks. This is nothing unordinary. Even after the FIA was approved the design, concept or component, they still need to be final decision makers on whether or not a particular team can use the newly adapted component. Race stewards will adequately scrutinise the car, and other teams can raise eyebrows at their objections and question the FIA about the legality of what Mercedes has done, which is what happened last year. The other teams claimed that Mercedes did not follow the rules, and questions began flying about whether such parts can be allowed. So why exactly was the front wing banned? Well, Mercedes' front wing design had to be reanalysed by the FIA because the other teams did not stop with the questions and accusations of Mercedes breaking the rules. The rivals felt that the Mercedes design was in breach of Article 3.9.8 of Formula One's technical regulations that provided the limitations of such components to produce an aero boost for any car. The rules stated that in as much as those slot gaps are allowed, they were not supposed to provide car with a direct aerodynamic influence. It further noted that such components can be included for primarily mechanical, structural or measurement reasons. Hence, the controversy flared as it was based on a new 5-slot gap separator feature and whether the primary use of them is to keep the pace between the two wing components, which is the normal function of the separator, or whether they were added to deliver more of the car's airflow to the front tyres, thereby creating a different wake in them. At the time, Mercedes felt that its design was in line with F1 rules and guidelines because the aerodynamic influence was secondary and not primary. But unfortunately for them, this time there was no way through the onslaught of complaints from other teams. In the end, the design was banned by the FIA, even though they were the ones that approved the design in the first place. As a result of the ban, Mercedes agreed to remove the slot gap separators during its appearance at the Mexican Grand Prix. The team's technical director, Mike Elliott, said before Mercedes removed the strengths of the car, "I think there's a fuss about it because in the regulations, it talks about the primary use being for mechanical or measurement purposes, And clearly there is a secondary benefit of an aerodynamic design that is in there as well. We will decide whether we want to argue that one or not. It's not worth a huge amount. That detail looks interesting, but it's not the big thing on the front wing. Just to avoid any other future issues with the rules stipulated in the technical regulations, the FIA made some adjustments to it for 2023 with the aim that designs like this will not be achievable again. New regulations or not, nothing was stopping the Mercedes team from proceeding to champions this season. Hence, they reappeared with a plan B for the W14. This time they had enough to create two different W14 designs, one for Hamilton and the other for Russell. The design consists of the previous design concept, but with certain changes made to follow the rules that were just revised. This time, the end flaps were detached from the update end plate, but the designers twisted the end plates to replicate the end flaps. This would deliver vortices that would result in a much larger aerodynamic flow to the car. On the other hand, the detached flaps are tied to the end plate but were made to be smaller, following the rules strictly and making the design legal. This will also come with other winglet that is placed right on top of the flaps, providing more aerodynamic flow. Okay, so that's great and all, but why on earth are Ferrari now able to use the exact same band design? In the wake of Mercedes' controversial design structure on its front wing, Ferrari is already making plans to reveal its new 2023 Challenger that was donning a replica of the design of the Mercedes car. Nonetheless, Ferrari's implementation does not raise any questions. Why is that? Well, you might remember that the FIA made some adjustments to Formula 1 technical regulations under Article 3.9.8. The changes made for the 2023 season show that the FIA deleted the part that made such designs to be primarily for mechanical, structural or measurement purposes. This was after the Mercedes technical director Mike Elliott objected that the translation and the main use of the word primarily when referring to the design was inconsistent with the remaining part of the regulations. If you look at the regulations, there are about 40 incidences in the regulations of sole purpose, and in this case it does not say sole purpose, it says primary purpose, Elliott said at the time. After that, this rule was revised in the new technical regulations that were published in December 2022, trashing the word primarily and replacing it with the statement that the designs must only provide a structural connection between consecutive front wing profiles. This implies that F1 teams could now include slop gap separators on their car front wing designs and could also influence the aerodynamics if they want, as long as they follow the strict measurement requirements. With this, the same slot gap separators which Mercedes initially used during the Austin test period and the same slot gap separators Ferrari is now using are officially now legal. Although Mercedes made changes to its car due to the initial ban, we probably will see them donning the design soon, and our guess is it's only a matter of time before other teams follow suit and create a similar version of their front wings. If you enjoyed watching this video, click the video on your screen now. You won't regret it. Give it a go. Go on, I dare you.